What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the new and improved and restarted Second Stringers podcast.
Yeah, excited to go again. NFL season is just underway. Week 1 just finished and wrapped up last night. I'm looking forward to talking about it and kind of dissecting each game. We started off with some pretty good games, to be honest. Started off with the LA Chargers versus the Indianapolis Colts. The LA Chargers, my big takeaway from the game was based on them. I think they need Melvin Gordon in the backfield first off. And
You think they need it?
And they need Derwin James back, because if they had those two on the field, I think they would have won by 10 points.
That Melvin Gordon takes a hot take.
I think they left a lot to be desired. They could have played a better game, and with Indianapolis, I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be just fine. I mean,
that's the clear
quarterback.
Yeah.
I think, that's the clear thing from the game. I mean, he played a good game, but San Diego, I think, has stuff on the table. What's your take on that, Will?
That Melvin Gordon takes on. You're literally the only person I've heard say that they need Melvin Gordon after Austin Eckler puts up 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He had a really nice game. I mean, I can't take that away from him, but the fact that just Melvin Gordon, I think, could have taken a lot of those carries further. They could have had a better game. I just saw opportunities left on the table by them that I think could have been capitalized if they had better players. Yeah.
For me, the takeaway was nothing about what the Chargers did surprised me. Like, they were undefeated last year without Melvin Gordon, so to watch them be successful in offense without him didn't surprise me at all. Their offensive line was a little better than I expected without Okun, so I guess maybe that's the takeaway, is their offensive line is a little better than we thought. But I think the real takeaway from this game is, you kind of hit on it. We kind of knew it based on the contract extension they gave him before the year. But Jacoby Brissett's a real quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And the Colts are going to be fine this year. Like, they're going to win somewhere between 7 and 9 games.
Yeah, I don't think they're in that Super Bowl contention anymore that some people had them in.
Yeah.
But I think they're definitely still a possible playoff team, a wild card team.
I've seen nothing from the rest of their division to tell me that they can't win the division still.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. So.
Like, Houston's offense looked really good, but their defense left a lot to be desired, and their O-line was not great.
Yeah. But, the Texans looks really good, to be fair, but, I mean, you never know.
I mean, was that Cleveland looking terrible, or was that Tennessee? Like, who knows? But
yeah, exactly.
That's the problem with making brash decisions on week 1. But Jacoby Brissett's a real player, which is a huge win for Colts fans after a tough situation for them, watching their franchise quarterback leave right before a season. You can argue they were a Super Bowl contender, if not favorite.
Yeah. And we'll leave that on that and move into the next game. We had Seattle versus Cincinnati, which I think most people thought was going to be a blowout for Seattle, just based off of Cincinnati's roster. To be honest, they don't look very good, but they came out and looked decent. It was more Seattle looking bad. Seattle did not play a great game, but everybody's going to have those road bumps at the start of the season. My takeaway is Seattle looks like they're a young team. Russell Wilson just got paid, but he's got young receivers around him. DK Metcalf, I think he played an all right game. He looks like he'll be legit.
He's a way bigger part of the offense than I thought he would be.
Oh, he was like 90% of it. It felt like he was always being looked at. He felt like the number one read on every play. But I think Andy Dalton really surprised a lot of people with 418 yards. Showed that the red rocket is still burning. I mean,
the beige water pistol
still has some water left in the tank, but. I mean, it was just not a great game from Seattle. They should beat them by more. to be honest. Cincinnati's not a great team, but they looked like a better team than both the two teams in their division, both the Steelers and the Browns. I think they look better than, and that's saying something. So
I think the takeaway from Seattle is notorious for playing horrendous against bad teams at home.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, there was a couple of years ago they almost lost a game to Arizona when they were terrible. They've lost games to the Niners when they were terrible. Like, they're notorious for just playing really bad and then randomly winning it late on a Russell Wilson drive. And you leave the game feeling just kind of gross. Like, did we actually win that game when they did? So for them, I got nothing out of that game watching Seattle. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I expected if they were going to be disappointing in this game.
Yeah, it felt like a very typical boring Seattle home game.
I think the takeaway for me was I did not expect Zach Taylor to know what he was doing as the Bengals coach. Their offensive line might actually be the worst in the league, especially considering their first-round pick got hurt in camp. Like, they used a first-round pick on Jonah Williams, and he gets hurt and is done for the year. Like, Joe Mixon gets hurt, barely even plays. AJ Green doesn't even play, and they still put up Andy Dalton puts up over 400 yards first time in his career. I mean, they should have won this game. They turned the ball over.
Had 158 yards.
They turned the ball over 3 times in the red zone. Like, they should have won this game.
Yeah, they should have.
I mean, and that's a huge win for if you're a Bengals fan to see that your coach isn't incompetent. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of people were kind of expecting him to be an overset. So a weird positive for the Bengals in a loss. But I think they're going to be – there was a lot of trend as them being the trendy worst team in the league pick for a while there. And I think this team's going to – the way they looked this week, now who knows? They might end up going 2-14. Who really knows? This is the NFL here. But just going off week 1, they looked like a team that could win 6 or 7 games, which is a significant upgrade over what we kind of thought was going to happen.
Yeah, we thought they were going to be a bottom of the barrel, tier NFL team. That's what I thought, to be honest with you.
They were a 9.5 point dog in this game, and people were betting on Seattle. Like, that's how terrible they looked.
That's crazy. Yeah, but they showed up. I mean, they showed they can play with a good team like Seattle. I mean, Seattle didn't have a great game, to be fair, but they did show up. So, the next game was the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. This game was kind of went as expected, to be honest. The Dallas Cowboys won 35-17. My takeaway from the game was that I really do feel like the New York Giants are similar to like the Miami Dolphins, but with a running back. As well as the Dallas Cowboys. They should pay Dak first off, and they could be one of those teams that are in Super Bowl contention this year, especially with Andrew Luck going into retirement. Kind of opens the whole NFL to having more teams with a shot at the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'd put Cowboys in that kind of bracket now. They looked real good. But what do you think about it?
I think Dallas looks like one of the 4 best teams in the NFC. I think at this point they're looking like a team where it's a disappointment if they're not at least playing in the divisional game. Which is somehow simultaneously surprising and expected, depending on who you ask, because they have so many haters and detractors. But they have a squad, and it's pretty clear Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator, knows what he's doing, the way he's using Dak. And with John Kitna as the quarterback coach, they just have so much more help for Dak in the coaching room than he's ever had before. Mm-hmm. And then add in like a guy like Randall Cobb, just a really good addition. And bringing back Jason Witten, you still got Amari, you got Zeke. Like, this team is loaded. Their defense is outstanding. I think Dallas is primed for a really good season. It'll be really interesting to see how the Eagles games play out.
Yep.
But especially considering it looks like they're going to get 2 wins against the Giants and 2 wins against the Redskins. So a quick little easy 4-0 there. That But yeah, Dallas looks good. And the Giants are awful. Like
Yeah, the Giants are kind of what we expected. I think Saquon's their team. So.
I mean, Eli's done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. So moving on, the next game was Detroit versus Arizona. Yeah, it was a pretty boring game, to be honest, until the fourth quarter when Arizona started playing well. But they ended in a tie. The overtime wasn't the most exciting overtime either. But
how did that corner not catch that interception?
I have no idea. It would have just made the game a little bit exciting, you know? Well, it was exciting in the fourth quarter when Kyler Murray started taking over. He really showed that the hype was real about him being the first overall draft pick this year. Personally, for me, that was my biggest question mark going into this week is he going to be legit? And he showed that he is. I think the Lions aren't a great team. Matthew Stafford did put up Matthew Stafford numbers with like 385 yards, but that's Matthew Stafford numbers when they lose. That's kind of common at this point. So,
I think my takeaway from this game more so than anything was I just feel really bad for Matt Stafford, man. Like his wife is going through a lot with her health, and I guess I was just kind of hoping for no reason. I mean, not no reason, but like blindly that this team would be better this year just because he just seems like a really good guy and he kind of deserves to at least at some point in his career get help. But I feel like his career is just going to be the definition of what if, because we've never seen him with a well-run organization before and a team that builds around him well. And it's just kind of sad because he has so much talent, and we could be talking positively about Kyler Murray, but I mean, Matt Stafford was really good in this game.
He was.
and they lost again, or they tied, but it felt like they lost. And I just feel bad for Matt Stafford. I don't know how you can. I don't even know how you can even rank him in his career with just the complete lack of help and support he's had.
Yeah, he's gotten paid though, so I mean, if I were him, I don't know if I'd have any complaints with.
It's hard to feel bad for him in that sense, but on the other, like he's never gotten any help in his career.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, they went like 5 years without a 100-yard rusher. They've never had a defense. It's just a terrible situation for a guy who I definitely think deserves better as a person. But in terms of Arizona and Kyler, I mean, Kyler looked like he didn't know how to play football in the first 3 quarters, and every single one of his detractors was saying, "Oh my God, look, Kyler sucks." And then Kyler looked exactly like he did in high school and college when the fourth quarter started. Like the guy's an absolute baller.
Yep.
I know he's 5'9". I know he's 5'9", but anyone who's paid attention to this guy's college and high school career didn't lose a game in high school in Texas 6A football, and a lot of the time he was not on the best team. But there's just something special with this guy, and I mean, he's a freak. And if they can figure out how to build an offense around him, there's just something special about him mentally that I think the sky is really the limit for him. I don't know if the Cliff Kingsbury experience is going to work. It's hard to say when you bring in an air raid guy.
Interesting.
But Kyler's got that personality where he comes across as cocky, but a lot of the time, there's a lot of times where he's got good reason to be. He's a great player, and the other takeaway of that is, I mean, thank God Larry Fitzgerald looks like he's going to get a good quarterback for his last year or two.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Like all-time great guy, and the numbers he's put up without help around him at his position is just ludicrous. And so for him to go out seemingly, because it's assumed this is his last year, and he comes back next year with a guy who can actually throw the ball is it's just a nice thing to see in the league.
Yeah, it's comforting, heartwarming.
Yeah, especially for a borderline irrelevant franchise. I mean, Arizona Detroit's a tough watch. Let's be honest here. There's not.
Yeah, that was no fun.
But
and then from Kyler,
yeah, we'll see if Kyler can turn around.
Yeah,
I'm a believer. I mean, undefeated in Texas 6A football. There's an argument he's the greatest high school athlete of all time in the U.S., which is just an unbelievable thing to be able to say about someone as a plausible argument.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.